I'm like, okay, so if you change things, you need to let your webmistress know that you've changed something like that.
And I think what I would say too, just for Thomas, is that if you have very specific website questions, that you contact Veronica directly afterwards for that.
What's the benefits and the differences between a blog and a forum? And can you change the content or preview what people are saying and kind of stuff like that?
A blog is about you writing. So a blog is you. It's all about you, your business, whatever it's a blog is about you writing and people commenting. And hopefully people sharing those, things that you've blogged with other people. A forum is basically put out there where somebody can post questions, or if they have complaints, or if they have issues.
I think I know what a forum is. You could have like threads, you could put a post.
Yeah, and then you can have people answer that or make comments. So that's much more about the outside people. It's kind of like a contact management place where people just go and make comments. Yes?
Setting up a blog, is it better to have it on your own website or one of the blog services? How does that work?
Well, I always have a link to my blog on the website, obviously. I think that you want to have, if they're really closely affiliated propositions, they should look very similar.
Okay.
There'll be some things that you won't include on it. I think there's so much, I don't want to say controversy, but there's so many different opinions on what's the best, whether it's WordPress or, there's God knows how many of them, and I have one as well. So, and mine is off my hosting, which is like totally different than other ones. I think it really depends on the features you're looking for. You really need to do the research on that. So it's one of those things where you have to really think about the elements that are important to you and the add-ons that are important to you. If you need a calendar, if you need, to make sure that your little Twitter logo is going to go on there and different things like that, that you do the research to see which one is the best for your needs.
How can you something really simple, because I'm talking about things. So, can you recommend one of them, WordPress, or what is the simplest thing for them to get started?
Besides telling you mine, because I'm very used to mine, that's what I use. But I know that there's a lot of people that use WordPress that find it very simple to use. A lot of people use Blogger.
I use WordPress for WomenTIES, and I think it's very easy to set up. I am going to hire somebody, though, to make sure to build in some of the tags and make sure it's set the right way. But in terms of setting it up, starting to write, and that is simple from a simple standpoint. But I think what I've learned is that to have your blog, if you're writing all the time but nobody's finding you, then what's the point of writing the blog? And that's what I'm finding is an issue. Even when we did the event in Ithaca, we spoke about this. We had a wonderful woman who spoke about it. It's important that people can track it, that can find that you're writing, and then it tracks back to your site as well. So my feeling is hiring somebody that has an expertise in that area to give you a little bit more information would be great. But then I think WordPress works well for just writing. I'm going to take bulk for packing way too much into one program. Is there a specific Facebook or Twitter, LinkedIn, something that you are most interested in learning about?
Yeah, I was just at dinner with a friend the other night, and we were talking about my talk today. She said, well, you should mention some of the downsides, even if it's not really a horrible, terrible downside. The downsides for like having a social media networking program would be maybe time, because we all say, I don't have the time to do that, which is true. It's very, you have to figure out what's important to you. The fact that it's new, so of course then there's a learning curve involved, and some people are very nervous about new things, especially new technology. It's like, it seems like, wasn't it just yesterday we finally learned how to email, and now we have a website, now it's, oh my God, there's something else I gotta do on the internet, And I just jump into all this stuff, but some people are nervous about it, and rightly so. I mean, we all start somewhere. It's not measurable per se. I mean, there's some things that are measurable about it in terms of you can see how many times you were retweeted or how many times people came to your blog, but it's not necessarily that you're going to say, okay, I sold this necklace and I made, $100. Now I've blogged, and what do I have? Did I get anything directly from it? So it's really not measurable in that way. It's not the sale. You know, the conversation is not the sale. The conversation is the conversation. And you need to have the conversation, establish the relationship, and hopefully that will convert. And that's a lot about what blogs is about, and why a lot of people don't read blogs that just kind of like shove sales down your throat. Because you want to get information. You want to connect with somebody that you think is valuable. You don't necessarily want to be sold to all the time. So those would be kind of the downsides. More of the upsides is that, you know, it's relatively inexpensive, especially if you're doing it yourself. It's just the time involved. There's not a lot of cost. It's not like you pay to get on Twitter or pay to get on Facebook or anything like that.
Well, I was also told that with Facebook, you know, corporations, people are interviewing and looking for jobs, they can monitor your political views, your originator, you know, anything about you. So,
I have that listed on here in terms of a lot of people are doing their due diligence on employees. You know, you go into Twitter and it's all lighthearted and you're saying, oh, I went out and got drunk the other night and this and that kind of thing. Well, if that was the night before your interview, you had a question?
I just want to add one thing to the discussion. I mean, we're talking a lot about the negative sides of these things, but there are a lot of advantages. And if you don't have the money to pay someone or to pay for all the optimization and things like that, LinkedIn and some of the other social networking platforms really help to optimize your personal search. I mean, if somebody types my name in, or my company's name in, because I have a Facebook, or not necessarily Facebook, but a LinkedIn page and things like that, I will still come up in the top rankings because LinkedIn or some of these other platforms are so large that when they search through, they find me and I come straight up. And when I'm looking for clients' addresses, I'll sometimes use those resources because it's easier to find someone there than it is to find it now in the phone book or even in yellowpages.com. So pay attention to what you're putting in there, and don't put everything in there that you don't want everybody else to see, but don't avoid it because you're afraid of it either, because it is a huge resource and it is cost effective.